Hello and welcome here to Talking STB and welcome back to the channel here for another video. And yesterday we spoke about the lack of leadership in Barcelona. We spoke about some of the negatives on our current run of form. Losses away at Malaga and Juventus have left us in a very difficult position, not only in the league but also now the Champions League. But today I am back with a little bit more positivity, a little bit more of what you're used to here. I've got 10 reasons why we should not be giving up and why Barcelona can believe that they can turn this around against Juventus back at the Camp Nou and create another night of European and Champions League history. So we're going to crack straight on with the reasons. I've got 10 of them. I'm going to rattle them off and I'd love to hear your opinions as always, guys, in the comments down below. What do you think of our chances after listening to some of the points? Do you agree? Now, by all means, I am not saying that coming back against Juventus is massively likely. I'm not saying in any way that we're favourites. I'm not saying even that the comeback is probable. What I am saying is it's possible. We are Barcelona. We have to believe. And the first reason for that is quite simple. We've done it before. And we've done it about a month ago. PSG 4-0 down. It looked absolutely impossible. Literally the whole world had written us off. 4-0 down. And then they go and get their away goal. But to come out of that game and win 6-1, we've never seen anything like it before. We'll likely never ever see it again. But the fact that we've done one comeback leads me to believe that they have got the character, they have got the qualities to do it again. Whether they will or not remains to be seen. But all I'm saying is we've done it before, so we've got no right to write this team off right now. They've done it before and they've showed us that they can do it. So that's the first point. The fact that we've already created history, we've already made one of these magical comebacks. The second point then would literally be it's even less of a task now. We're only 3-0 down. I know it sounds silly to say that we're only 3-0 down, but against Paris it was 4. Now we only need 3 goals to take it to extra time, which, by the way, for me is actually possible. 3-0 at the Camp Nou is something that we've done on a regular basis against a range of teams. Not only Spanish opposition, teams have come to the Camp Nou on European nights, big teams, and we've won 3-0, scored the amount of goals that we needed without any problem at all. So for me, 3-0 is not impossible, not in front of our own fans, not with the players that we have, and that is all we would need to take the tie to extra time, as opposed to the 4 that we needed against Paris Saint-Germain. And in the end, of course, we actually needed 6, but still, we did it. Number 3 would be the fact that we actually created several clear-cut chances in Turin. In the game against Juventus, I actually thought that we did quite well. We controlled the ball for most of the game, and we created 1 or 2 massive chances. We should have come away from that game with an away goal, at least 1, absolutely no doubt about it at all. Whereas in Paris, we were dreadful. We didn't create anything at all. The only chance that I can remember in Paris was the Andre Gomez chance where he's in on goal and he doesn't take it. In Turin, Iniesta had the chance at 1-0. That was a massive opportunity. If he scores there, it's 1-0, a completely different game. Then there was the Suarez chance later on in the second half. 9 times out of 10 you'd expect Suarez to score there. That was unfortunately the one occasion where he didn't. But there was more chances apart from that. I remember distinctly there was a cross that came into the area. Umtiti centimetres away from making that contact. And of course he very nearly scored in Paris too. But those were the only chances that we had against PSG. Against Juve it was constant chances time and time again. And it just felt like one of those nights where it wouldn't go in for us. Whereas in Paris we really didn't deserve to come away with anything. But in Turin against Juventus, even with that defence that we talk about, it was possible for us to score, and we really should have done. So we can take heart in the fact that we actually played better in the first leg of this tie than we did against PSG, and we still came through that one. So by all means, there's a chance. Number 4 is all about the Camp Nou. It's all about the Juventus coming to the stadium, looking around them, seeing what's going to grace them as they go out to the pitch. And Gigi Buffon came out with a really interesting quote for the first leg of this tie, actually. He said that the Camp Nou pitch is actually quite a similar size to many others around Europe. But the difference is you go out there, the stands are towering around you. It's a little bit set off from the pitch. Barcelona will do everything they possibly can to widen that pitch, spread the play, create the space. And then it becomes a really daunting pitch. And it seems so big, so much ground to cover, and it's very difficult at times to defend at the Camp Nou. So it'll be very interesting to see how Juventus react to that sort of pitch, the size, the stadium, and the occasion, because the next point would be the fact that Juve can have an off night. We've seen it with PSG. They were so comfortable in that first leg. They were so confident. They believed in what they were doing. They had world-class players. but everybody can have an off night. Everybody can have that sort of dip in confidence, which would certainly allow us back in the game. And that's what we need. Juventus to come here. If we once again score early, and if the crowd get with the team like they did against PSG, anything can happen. Really, anything can happen. Juve could crumble. Everybody is saying they're not PSG. I understand that. For me, they're better defensively than PSG are, but they're still not invincible. You saw last season against Bayern Munich, they were 2-2 at home, they drew, and then they went away to the Allianz Arena, and they were 2-0 up in the Champions League last season away at Bayern. They were cruising onto the next round, and all of a sudden, they collapsed. The pressure got to them, the occasion got to them, and they ended up losing the game 4-2 on the night in extra time and crashing out of the Champions League. So, by all means, Juventus are a very, very good side, and I respect them a lot. Allegri has done a phenomenal job with the players that he's got at his disposal, but they can have an off night, and they can start crumbling if we really do put the pressure on them. The number 5 point would be a player that I think decided the first leg on his own, Sergio Busquets. He wasn't there, and he was seriously missed in that team. He will be back, and that is a monumentous boost to our play. And it's very, very good as well. Like I said earlier about us creating chances in Turin, we'll also now have the addition of Busquets in midfield. We control the ball quite well away, and even more now so at home with Busquets back. And that also means that Mascherano can drop back into centre-back if he is fit to play that game, and we will see what happens. But certainly having somebody as influential in our team and our system as Sergio Busquets back in the team is a massive, massive boost and should not be underestimated. The next part would be Neymar, and there's a very, very interesting point here with Neymar. Number one is the fact that he's going to have over a full week of full rest. He's not going to play any football until the next game against Juventus next week. He's going to be suspended for the game today against Real Sociedad after his red card against Malaga, so he's going to have a full week of rest to recover. Because for me in the game against Juve, he looked a bit jaded, he looked a bit tired, a bit lethargic, he didn't quite look as elusive as he usually does. The same could be said about his performance against Malaga. And I think he's going to go out there on that night with a point to prove. We saw him against PSG in that second leg. He was unbelievable. One of the best players on the pitch, if not the best player, and the man who got us into the next round. He lives for these big occasions. And I think he'll certainly have a point to prove for Dani Alves, because you know he's quite close with Alves. And I've got no doubt all this week Alves has been in his ear about how he kept him so quiet in Turin. Well, Neymar will have a point to prove. He'll be fresh, he'll be ready, and I really hope, like against PSG in that second leg, that he brings his A game and we see the very, very best out of Neymar. The next point would be Lionel Messi. Say no more. I could have just come into this video and said, you know what, actually, never give up because we've got Messi. And that would be a very, very true statement, because Messi, for me, was unbelievable. That was the best performance I have ever seen from probably a team on the losing side of a 3-0 ever. Because Messi was sensational. He was picking the ball up in areas. People say that Juve, you made a circle around him to isolate him. Messi wasn't isolated. Messi got the ball where he wanted to do. He got the ball deep. He ran into offensive positions. And he tore Juve apart. He really did. Some defence-splitting passes. He created so many chances for his teammates. And it makes me quite mad that we didn't actually create and give him what he wanted, which was a goal at the end of it. He deserved that for the chances he created. And if he plays anything like that at the Camp Nou, Juve have got trouble on their hands, because he was outstanding. And it's worth noting as well that in the fantastic win against PSG, although Messi scored that night, he wasn't actually, I would say, in top gear. It was more about Neymar on that night. So if you can get Messi at his top level at the Camp Nou against Juve, you've got real problems. So that's why I would say, watch out. If he's on form, we may be in for a treat on that night. Also, worth noting, Juve have conceded 3 goals away from home on 2 different occasions this season. One of them came just a few weeks ago in the Coppa Italia. They lost 3-2 to Napoli, so that was 3 goals conceded. And one very interesting one would be the fact they lost 3-1 to Genoa, who are currently 16th in Serie A earlier on in the season. So that would be very, very interesting. They have conceded 3 goals, and there's a lot of talk about, Juve's defence and all the rest of it. But like I say, as good as they are and as organised and as structured as Allegri has got them playing right now, we did create chances against them. We did create chances against them in their own stadium. So what's to say that we can't do that at the Camp Nou? And if we're actually clinical in front of goal, and if we actually take our chances and nullify that threat of Juve's defence outpowering us, we can do this. We can honestly do this. And the final point that I would have, number 10, that the biggest reason to believe going into this game is the fact that we are Barça. And at the end of the day, when everything is said, when everything is put to one side, believed, because we've got the players. We've got Messi, we've got Suarez, we've got Neymar. We've got some of the best players to ever grace the world stage of football. We've got a phenomenal stadium in the Camp Nou, a fortress on European nights. We've got a team here who can get us through the next round. They've done it before. They can do it again. They have given us so many memorable moments over the last few years. They've had so much success. There is no reason at all why we should be writing them off here. We should believe in them. We should have the courage and the pride to say, you know what, we can do this, because Juventus are a phenomenal team, but we are Barcelona, and we will go into that game, and I know in my heart that they will give everything that they possibly can to win that tie and once again make history. And what's to say that they can't do it? So leave your thoughts down below, guys. I know it might seem a little bit optimistic. A lot of people come in here and say, you know what, we can't do it. What are you talking about? Why are you this positive? We need to be. It's all we can do. It's all we can do is believe. It's a little bit of hope. That's all we're asking for. A little bit of faith. Whatever will happen, will happen. We'll find out next week whether we can do it or not. It's going to be a memorable game no matter what happens. I just hope that we do ourselves proud, and I believe the players will deliver in that aspect. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. It'd be very, very interesting to hear what you've got to say. I will see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, keep believing, keep the faith. Vasca! El Barça!